Hello and welcome to the presentation of my hospital compare case study. This case study was completed as an assignment for HAP 725, Statistical Process Control, taught by Dr. Farouk Alemi. My name is Alexander Velasky. The main objective of my case study was to compare the performance of Inova Loudoun Hospital to all of the other Inova hospitals. Now, while all the Inova hospitals aren't technically direct competitors with each other, this presentation serves as a great tool for Inova to assess the performance at all of its branches. For my case study, I collected data from the Hospital Compare website. Hospital Compare is part of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Hospital Quality Initiative. This initiative uses a variety of tools to help hospitals improve the quality of care they deliver. Within the data, you can find hospital performance measures as well as information from patient perspectives. As I mentioned before, for this case study, I will be comparing Inova Loudoun Hospital with all the other Inova hospitals, which include Inova Alexandria, Inova Fairfax, Inova Fair Oaks, and Inova Mount Vernon. Before beginning my analysis of Inova hospitals, I wanted to get an overall sense of how they compare to each other. Here I provide a chart that shows how each hospital compares to the national average on each of the given measures. While it appears that all Inova hospitals do generally well in comparison to the national averages, there are some differences between each other. Therefore, more detailed analyses are warranted. Using the indicators from the chart on the previous slide, I have selected the following measures for my analyses. For mortality, I selected the measure of AMI mortality. For readmission, I used AMI readmission. For patient experience, I used the indicator hospital quietness. For timeliness, I used the measure of staff responsiveness. And lastly, for payments, I used AMI payments. The first measure I analyzed from the hospital compare data was hospital mortality rate. Specifically, I chose AMI mortality rate. Based on the results you see depicted here on the control chart, Loudoun Inova Hospital has had a declining AMI mortality rate over the last few years. This rate was also significantly less than the average rate of the other Inova hospitals in 2016 and 2017. I should note that all the control charts you see here, the upper and lower control limits are depicted as red solid lines. Loudoun Inova Hospital is depicted as a blue solid line with markers, and the average of the other Inova hospitals is depicted as a gray dashed line. The second measure I selected for my case study was readmission rate. Specifically, I chose AMI readmission rate. For the given time frame, we can see that Loudoun Inova Hospital and the other Inova hospitals had pretty similar readmission rates. They weren't significantly different from each other, as both lines are within the control limits. However, in 2017, we can see that Loudoun Inova Hospital had a significantly lower readmission rate as compared to the other Inova hospitals. The third indicator I chose for my analysis was patient experience. For this case study, I used the measure of hospital quietness to assess patient experience. In the hospital compare data, each hospital was given a hospital quietness score derived from patient surveys. The score ranged from 0 to 100, with a score of 100 being the most quiet. Looking at the chart, we can see that Loudoun Inova was significantly louder than the other Inova hospitals for all the given time periods. The next indicator I chose for my analysis was timeliness of care, which was assessed by the measure of staff responsiveness. In the hospital compare data, each hospital was given a staff responsiveness score derived from patient surveys. The score ranged from 0 to 100, with 100 being the most responsive. Except for quarter 3 in 2017, staff responsiveness at Loudoun and Inova was not significantly different from the other Inova hospitals. The final indicator I chose for my analysis was hospital payment. This indicator was assessed from the measure of AMI payments. For the given time frame, we can see that patients at Inova Loudoun had significantly lower AMI payments as compared to all the other Inova hospitals. To summarize, mortality and readmission rates at Inova Loudoun were generally better than the other Inova hospitals. Patient experience in terms of hospital quietness was worse at Inova Loudoun. Timeliness of care in terms of staff responsiveness was generally similar at all Inova hospitals. And finally, hospital payments at Inova Loudoun were much less than at the other Inova hospitals. As with all studies, there are a few limitations to address. The first of which is a low survey response rate. For many of the patient surveys that I analyzed, the response rate was fairly low, around 20 to 30%. By not getting a majority input, a low response rate can lead to a misrepresentation of a hospital's overall performance. The second limitation deals with the question of validity. In other words, how good are the indicators at evaluating a hospital's performance? For example, is a hospital quietness by itself an adequate measure of patient experience? Probably not. This concludes my case study presentation on Inova Loudoun Hospital. As always, feel free to post your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Thank you and take care.